Well, welcome back everyone. We have all the stuff we need. Mike just pulled up with the rest of it so that we can finish these panels in the barn. You can't tell, it's very windy and it's actually really cold. It's not below freezing or nothing, but it is cold. So, I'm gonna get all this done hopefully today so that we can be ready to use our barn. It's November 12th, so we have about a month before they'll come in the barn. We won't have everything ready before then. There's the man, the myth, the legend right there. He had to go grab his grinder because I killed mine. So now maybe we can get stuff done. Mike and I had to do some brainstorming, so using the old noodles. What we came up with was we put the hinges on top for this gate. One, like Mike said, you can easily lift it off to change it instead of making them opposite or anything like that. But two, this panel right here is supporting all the weight, and it's gonna not drive it, but it's gonna weigh this end of the gate down, which will hold this end in place. And then it'll make it to where this panel right here can open. But actually, it's only gonna be opened right there because the panel for the creep feeder will be right here. But it would actually be able to open 90 degrees the way we have it set. It may not make sense, but there was a lot of thought that went into this one. And then we're gonna hang the hinge for the others out here. There's one gate that'll go across here to close this off. And that'll be hung right there, and that's it. Yeah.
We're getting it.
Yeah. Know what we're doing. Where we're going anyway. Yeah. Back to work. These are the pieces of pipe that we weld on the end to act as hinges. They fit on here perfectly. The issue is, you can see how this sticks out. Well, since we don't have a spacer off the end of the actual gate that we're making, or the panels that we're making, we gotta grind that off. So I've just been cutting them off and then rounding it off. So now you can see how this is not sticking off the end. I'll take the grinder and I'll go around it with the actual grinding wheel to make it smoother. But there's Mark.
Bring it down. Oop, right there, still good? Right. I'm ready. Here we go.
I guess since we're talking about it, we cleared all this spot off to be able to weld down here. So the sawdust would be out of the way, all the hay debris would be out of the way, make it a safe environment to weld. However, if you watch whenever he's welding, obviously all the embers bounce and, you know, they kind of go in a sporadic distance. Well, even though nothing was smoking, nothing seemed like it was on fire, it just made me nervous. But at the end of it, we were actually just too lazy to carry these up there to weld. So we've been very careful and cautious in watching. So I want to give you guys a tour of kind of how this all came together and how we intended to work. I do apologize for during the building time. That week we were very busy. Unfortunately, one of our neighbors, family members had passed away, and we wanted to support them and do everything we could to help them through that tough time. So other than that, this has been a very good project. I want to show you kind of how we expect it to work though. So you can see that these are not set up to necessarily move easily. And it's like that because I don't have a way to attach this to the barn that you guys are actually mounted to right now on this camera. However, it's pretty easy just to lift this a little bit and slide it out. Just like so, or even from the outside doing the same thing. These are on hinges and they can swing. Let me let the chicken move so I don't smash them. These can be pushed and pulled whichever way we need it to go. It's actually not that hard to move. I just had to look for the chickens get away. So if I wanted to bring a lamb in, or a mom in here, I would open this corner. I think you guys can see that. There. So there's obviously going to be a gate across the wall right there, just like it was last time. I would open that gate, let them in here. So I have this all the way open. There's a little triangle in here where Spirit's at. That is where I would catch them. I'd open that gate, get them in here, close that gate. Once I got that done, then I would come over here. I would open that a little bit. Now once I do that, it makes it to where I have kind of a chute. So I can push them just like this. They'll go down there, they'll go around the corner. And then I'll have like that one, or whichever one it is that I want them to go into. Really doesn't matter at that point because it's not hard to get them to go where we want them to go once they're kind of confined. So in this case, having one in here and push them in there will be very easy. Now, if these others, let's say that these two had lambs or moms with lambs in them, that would make it a little bit more difficult, but not impossible. It would just be simply that we would push these. So again, if I had mom in here with babies, I would just kind of push these aside and keep them back here. That's not really that hard to do because I'm over here pushing them in. They're really not going to want to come towards me anyhow. I'd push these guys in here. Once I get them down here, bring that back down. Do the same thing with this one. We bring it back down. And then all I do, to keep them in. This gate's heavy enough that they can't just push it open. It would be very difficult for them to do anyhow. And we'd catch them by then. As you can see with Spirit in there, pretty easy to get them in. The other thing we're going to add is those plastic grain troughs. We're going to set them on the ends of these. That way each individual stall has their own. Because if I put them on the sides right here, whoever's in this one will try to reach across to this one to eat theirs and vice versa. So this gate right here is just designed for us to bring equipment in and out. So like if we're gonna bring the skid steer in here to either put new bales down there or scoop up all the hay or the sawdust and the manure mix, basically clean the barn floor, whatever we need to do, right? We can swing this all the way open, potentially swing this all the way open, there won't be a big pile of sawdust because we actually get this relatively close to smooth. There's usually only about 2 inches of sawdust on the floor. Now, again, this is set like this just so we can get equipment in and out. And we still have this gate right here. That one will actually go right here like it was last year as well. I can bring that, so with this gate right here that I just opened, with this one closed, I can bring a piece of equipment, set it in here, then close this gate right here. Now, when I open this gate to go in here and do whatever I'm doing with the skid steer or whatever equipment I have in here, makes it to where the sheep can't go anywhere. So it's a one-man operation to be able to bring equipment in and out and not have to worry about animals getting out. The part that's going to be a little bit trickier, not so much tricky, but different, is this part. And it's not set up yet because I want to do a little more research before I finally make a decision on that. I don't want to mess up what I've actually made because I really like this design and I really like these. These work great, they're strong, they're sturdy. I don't have to worry so much about them. So the next things that we did, you all probably remember that we had gates set up in the middle of the barn at one point. And it's when we were sorting lambs off. So we replaced those as well with metal gates. And the reason being, the wood ones worked fine. They did what they were supposed to, but it wasn't quick and easy to swing or close, swing open or close for the gates. And that makes it to where it takes more time, because you'll have an animal right there, and then you're fighting trying to get the gate open where you need to be able to get them in or get them out, whatever the case may be. So it just takes time, and we don't have a lot of time. Again, both my wife and I do work off the farm jobs, and so we want this to be efficient. When we get home in the evenings, we don't have a lot of time to get this done, get our kids with their homework going, get dinner together, get everybody ready for bed, all that other good stuff. So this just makes it quicker, makes it to where it's less of a headache for us. And then down here, same thing. We replaced the wooden gates. So just like before, these gates just simply go across to keep all the sheep, let's just say that Spirit's the sheep for now, all of them sheep being able to get to the bottom of this barn. And last year we had our grain wagon in here, and that's the biggest reason we didn't want them down here. Plus we had some hay bales stored in here. This year we have all of our hay bales stored in here. Spirit, come. So Spirit's coming down the way. She's hurried up. She's excited because she wants to come out here to get grain. So we'll have this door open when we want to let them out to get grain. They'll come out here. This grain trough will actually already be filled up. We'll use our grain bin right here, our bulk bin. We'll use the 5-gallon buckets just like before. Open it up, fill this up, let them out just like we just did. Now, Spirit, no. Once they're all done eating, right, you can tell that this is actually all graveled. There's some weeds that we killed off that are on top of here. We used creek gravel, so there is some dirt that was in there mixed in. Makes it to where things can grow in there. Spirit. So I want to go ahead and take the skid steer, and Chris is going to help me. We need to get the net wrap and the twine off of those bales that we put in the bale feeders and get them ready to basically feed out. We left them wrapped up before because we didn't want to put a bale or 2, 3, 4 bales, whatever, out, and let's say that the hay racks wouldn't hold them and something broke on them. Well, we didn't want to have a bunch of hay everywhere. So we went ahead and just tested them with them left on there wrapped. But we're ready to take all that wrap off there and go ahead and actually have the barn move in ready.